morning, dear student. Welcome again in online classes of Buddha International School. Dear student, in last lecture we have discussed about the impact of revenue policies on rural economy of India, and then after you have seen that how the very painful and doleful situation of Indian farmers was there, and how the farmers they start growing the cash crop. Finally, the Indian farmers exploited by the indigo planters, by the British officials, and as a result, the farmer they started the revolt against the Britishers. Why? You know well that if the water is beyond the level of our head, obviously then we have to take certain actions. And the same by the Act of 1833, when the Britishers said to the Indian farmers that if any Indian farmer refused to grow the indigo plantation or indigo farming, then their land can be encouraged easily by the British officers. And as a result, the farmers they are really not happy with this act that was passed by the Britishers. They want to show the unrest against the Britishers and the British government, and as a result, in the different parts of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, the revolt started by the farmers. So many leaders were there. They leaded the Indian farmers. They fought the battle against the Britishers. Finally, the result was the same only, that they easily crushed by the Britishers because of they are having the very good army. They are having the modern weapon even, and the farmers are there. They are having the lack of weapons, as well as they are not well formed there, whatever the areas where they revolted, and as a result that they suppressed by the Britishers. So here, my dear student, that because of the policies introduced by the Britishers, and the farmers are having the unrest, and due to that unrest they want to show the Britishers by their agitation, by their revolt, by their movements. So here in this lecture mainly we are going to discuss that because of those policies, what kind of revolt started by the Indian farmers against the Britishers. So first of all, you see, my dear student, here some peasants revolts were there, that the revolt started by the Indian peasant, especially to show the unrest against the Britishers due to the kind of policies introduced by them, and number two, how they are forcing to grow the cash crop instead of food crops. So the first revolt was there, that was Indigo Rebellion. That you all know very well that indigo, it's kind of plant that the native industries of England require to add the dye, the cotton cloth, and as a result, the Indigo Rebellion means the farmer those are growing the indigo, especially in Bengal, how they started their revolt against the Britishers. So the Indigo Rebellion of Bengal, my dear student, was one of the largest farmer agitation. One of the largest farmer agitation, here we can say revolution at the time. Why? Because it was started by Vishnu Charan Vishwas and Digambar Vishwas from Nadia. It was a kind of small district of Bengal. So two farmer, Vishnu Charan Vishwas and Digambar Vishwas, they are the leader of this revolt. Why this revolt was started? That you know very well that Britishers are forcing to the people, the farmer of Bengal, to grow these crops, and as a result, they want to show the unrest against the Britishers. So these two leaders, Vishnu Charan and Digambar Vishwas, they leaded them. Soon it spread just like forest in fire. Forest fire, just like a forest fire, just like in forest the fire is going to spread with the great speed. Same, my dear student, this agitation also spread not only in the Nadia, in Murshidabad, Burdwan, Patna, Narel, means these other parts of the Bengal. There also the farmers, when they came to know that yes, in Bengal this revolt started by the two leaders, then why not here we should also start the revolt against the Britishers. So just like forest fire, my dear student, in Murshidabad, Burdwan, Patna and Narel, also this revolt started. Although the revolt was brutally suppressed by the British, who were backed by police and military, and the revolt was popular in almost the whole of Bengal. In the beginning only I said that so many revolts started by the Indian farmers in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, but the conclusion was only one, that all the revolts brutally suppressed by the Britishers. Why? Because of the good police, good military they are having. Indian farmers are not having this much availability of weapons, as well as they are not having a kind of unity even. So finally, see my dear student, that they became famous by this revolt. Means at least in whole Bengal, the people and the farmers came to know that yes, the farmers also dare to raise their voice against the Britishers. So in Bengal, my dear student, almost in complete Bengal, the farmers, they shown their unrest, they raised their voice against the unjust system of the Britishers. And after the rebellion, a committee was also appointed to look into the correct practices in indigo cultivation, and various means were suggested to remove the evil practices. So many evil practices were there that you all know very well, that if you will not grow, then your land can be taken away. They forced to grow the indigo only. They cannot grow the kind of food crops. So these kind of so many practices were there. But because of this revolt, what happened? That a committee organized, and that committee is going to look after the all matters and issues of the Bengal. And then the evil practices earlier they are there in the Bengal, they will be also removed by this committee only. So this was good, that at least somehow they dared to raise their voice against the Britishers. Then only this committee was appointed. Then only the corrupt officers and evil practices also removed from Bengal. But as a result, my dear student, more thing, that still this exploitation is going on. Why? Because the planters, they shifted their practices. Then in Bihar now, the Champaran revolt of Bihar is one of the example of this exploitation of peasant only. Why? Because of this indigo rebellion. Now in Bengal, somehow the conditions are well and fine. By because of this system and the committee, because they are going to remove the evil practices. But still, now the planters shifted this system from Bengal to Bihar, and Champaran exploitation of the Champaran is also there now in 1917. That is also the example of this revolt only. So this is regarding the indigo rebellion. Next one more revolt was started at the same time, that was Sannyasi and Fakir revolts. Sannyasi, you know very well, just like saint people are there. Fakir are also there, they are not having anything. Simply we can say mendicants peoples are there. Okay, so they also started the revolt. Why they started? Because that somehow their rights are also avoided by the Britishers. So see my dear student, about the Sannyasi and Fakir revolt. It was the first major revolt of Sannyasis of Bengal. Okay, so not only the farmers, my dear student, Sannyasi peoples are there, the beggars one, and the Fakirs one also there. They also Nawabs, mendicants, they also join this revolt, only to show the feelings towards the British system, that how they are not happy with this system. So who were there in this kind of revolt? Majnu Shah, Musa Shah, Chirag Ali, Bhavani Pathak, and Devi Chaudhary. They all were the member of this revolt. They were the major leader, we can say, of this revolt. They had several encounters with the company's troops from 1763 to 18th century. See my dear student, that being a Fakir and Sannyasi, even continuously they are having so many encounters with the British troop from 1763 to 18th century, and they plundered the factories at Dhaka when the officials exploited the weavers. Yes, see my dear student, when the British officials are busy in exploiting to the weavers of Bengal, then their factories at Dhaka also plundered by Sannyasis and Fakir. Means they want to give the reply to them, that if you will exploit us, we are going to plunder and going to rob your factories. Then after, peasants and soldiers of the disbanded army of Nawab, mendicants and Fakir were also the member of this band. So not only Sannyasis were there, my dear students, some Nawab, some Zamindar, those are disbanded by the Britishers. Some mendicants are there, just like the beggar people, we can say. Okay, they also became the member of this band, and their strength was about 5,000, and they defeated the company's army on a number of occasions. Wow, you see that the company, which is defeated so many revolts as well as so many areas of India annexed by the Britishers, but by the Sannyasis and Fakir, they defeated not only once, so many times and several occasions, and their number is also more than 5,000. So you see, my dear student, that if we, if you are going to, decide something, that yes, then we should not have any kind of fear. Maybe the Britishers, they are having the modern weapon, they are having one of the largest army of that time, more than 3 lakh 15,000 soldiers were there. Even the 5,000 member of this revolt, they are going to defeat it several times to the officials of the company. You see, and the company's army officials at Purania informed the Mongia commander in 1770 that the soldiers, salaries of the soldiers should not be sent without a strong escort party. And as a result, that it was said that the soldiers will be paid the salary then only when they are going to defeat and are going to exploit the whatever the members of this Sannyasi and Faraji movement were there. And as a result, why my dear student, that there is a kind of condition of soldiers also, that how they are not able to defeat the 5,000 member of this movement only. And about this, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in his novel Anand Mat also he depicted so many things about the sannyasis and fakir, that how they given the kind of challenge to the Britishers at that time. So this is all about the fakir and sannyasi movement of that time. Next movement was, my dear student, that was the Faraji movement. Farazis were the followers of the Muslim religious movement, and Hari Sayyidullah of Bengal, he was the main leader of this Faraji movement. Later on, my dear student, eventually they were also oppressed by the Britishers, but they also raised their voice against the British troop as well as the British officials. So this is all about the 3 movements. That was first Indigo rebellion of Bengal, then the Sannyasi and Fakir revolts of Bengal. Farazi, the followers of Muslims, they also raised their voice against the Britishers. So you see, my dear student, these all were the kind of revolts by the Indian peasants to show to the Britishers that yes, if you will going to exploit us, we are not going to tolerate it for the long time. And they have really given the kind of stuck competition to the Britishers, and as a result they have shown to the Britishers that yes, if they are going to do the little, going to do the give the little chance to the Indians, definitely they can be kicked out. And really it was a kind of great message to the Indians also, that if you are going to unite yourself, easily you can kick out to Britishers from India. So this is all about, my dear student, about the different peasant revolts. 1 and 2 revolts left that we will discuss in our next lecture. Till then, thank you, have a nice day. Good morning, dear student. Welcome in online classes of Buddha International School. Dear student, today we are going to discuss same about the peasant revolts. As in last lecture also we have discussed about the different kinds of peasant revolts started by the Indian farmers, started by the Indian peasants against the Britishers. Just like in last lecture we have discussed about the Indigo rebellion, the farmer of Bengal, then that Faraji movement, Sannyasi and Fakir movements, and today also one more revolt is there about which we are going to discuss, that was Wahhabi revolt. See, my dear student, this revolt was also organized by Syed Ahmad Barelvi with an objective to overthrow the British yoke. Means the main objective of this man was there not to uplift the condition of farmers and not to any other issue, we can say, because you know very well that if we are going to overthrow the Britishers, automatically the condition of Indian farmers is going to uplift. So as a result, that they are having only on one motto, that was the British yoke should be finished from India. That's why Syed Ahmad Bareli, he was the main leader of this movement, and a large number of farmers and craft persons of Bengal and Bihar participated in this revolt. So he requested to so many members, and he said to them that you should join this movement so that we can easily remove the Britishers from India. It was a revolt against the British domination which continued from 1830 until after the revolt of 1857. So you see, my dear student, that it was a revolt against the Britishers started by 1830 and continued till the first war of independence, we can say 1857. So now you can see that approximately 27 years continue the revolts were there by the Wahhabis against the British yoke. Why? Because they have finally decided that we have to remove the Britishers from India anyhow, at any cost. Then only we can normalize the situation and the condition of Indian farmers. Otherwise, they will continue exploiting to ourselves. So this Wahhabi revolt was also related to the, peasants and their situations and the kind of exploitation that was did by the Britishers. So you see, dear student, that just after 1857 also, not only we can say revolts are going to stop, they are continue only, but the 1857 whatever the other revolts done by the Wahhabis, they were easily suppressed by the Britishers. Why? Because they are unorganized, we can say they are not having the proper planning, even they have taken the cause of the misery of the common people. As a result, Britishers feel easy to defeat and to crush the Wahhabis at different places. So this is all about the different types of peasant revolts. They are only for this, that they exploited by the Britishers, and the farmers, they don't want to tolerate it for the long time. That's why, especially in Bengal and Bihar, and then after some other parts of the country also, they are going to start their voice against the Britishers, against the British yoke, and finally they got successful. Next and last, my dear student, here we are going to do the case study, a comparative study of Bengal, Bihar and Punjab. Why of these three states of that time? Only that through this we came to know that how the policies of Britishers was different from Bihar and Bengal to the Punjab. That in Bihar and Bengal, their policies were so oppressive than the Punjab. So what was the reason behind this? Why they are so lenient towards the Punjab, and why they are so cruel, so oppressive towards the people of Bengal and Bihar? That's why here is a particular case study about these three we can say states of India. Bihar and Bengal were the commercial importance to the British. As you know, just after the Battle of Buxar, Bengal, Bihar and Odisha and the Diwani right also company got that they can take and they can collect the revenue from these three states because they are very fertile ones. Then after, these regions played a very important role in the British agrarian policies too. That whatever the agrarian policies from Izardari up to Mahalwadi, the all policies you have seen that implemented by the Britishers, especially for the Bengal and Bihar. For example, British agrarian policies oppressed the indigo cultivators of Bengal. You have seen recently in last lecture that how indigo rebellion against the Britishers. Why? Because of the oppressive policies for the indigo farmers. And in Bihar, it's too oppressive, means they are not having any kind of mercy toward the farmers of Bihar and Bengal. And the Blue Rebellion continued from 1859 to 1860 also. This was also a kind of rebellion by the farmers against the Britishers. Earlier, Wellesley's land revenue policy was also too oppressive. Farmers had to pay the revenue even after the failure of the crops. You have seen that in Izardari as well as in Rayatwadi system, in permanent settlement also, that the farmers, even the crop failure, even the famine is there, then also they have to pay the revenue to the Britishers. So we can see that how the Wellesley's, whatever the revenue policies are there, they are so oppressive, especially for the farmers of Bihar and Bengal. The traditional economy conditions, the condition of the farmers was so miserable, as more than half of the population depended upon agriculture in the early 20th century. So really, my dear student, that because of the oppressive policy of Britishers, the condition of the farmers of Bihar and Bengal was really very miserable. What was the reason behind this? That most of the population, as you know very well, that 75% earlier, till now also 65 to 70% Indians are there. They are fully dependent on farming only, on agriculture only. At the time also 70% farmers are there. They are fully dependable on farming only. As a result, because of all oppressive policy of Britishers, their condition became so plightful, so miserable. Now here you will see that the great change is there in the policy of Britishers, especially for the Punjab. That's why we are doing the comparative study between Bihar and Punjab, and one side Bengal and Bihar is there. See, Punjab you all know very well, known as the land of five rivers, and it was annexed by the Britishers by 1849. In which year? In 1849, Punjab also became the part of a Britishers, and it's known as the land of five rivers. You should know it. The major occupation of the people was the farming. In Punjab also, most of the people, they are fully dependent on farming only. They wanted to maximize their profits from the fertile land of Punjab also. Britishers, they want to gain more and more profit from the land of Punjab also, because this land, the land of Punjab was also very famous in terms of fertility, in terms of good yielding and production also. and they want to consolidate their position in India as well. So as a result, they want to gain the support of the local people of Punjab. So finally, what happened, my dear student? Their revenue policies were not so oppressive in the Punjab. Why? Because they want to gain the support of the local people of Punjab. So their policies are not so oppressive, and as those in Bengal and Bihar, if you will see, due to the agricultural prosperity, because the land is so fertile in the Punjab, farmers are also happy, because whatever the land policies are there of the Britishers, they are not so oppressive. So due to the prosperity in the Punjab, the farmers of Punjab are there. They are also not started any kind of revolt against the Britishers. Any kind of revolt not started by the people of by the farmers of Punjab. That's why here you see, my dear student, that what a great discrimination done by the Britishers. That the people of Punjab farmers are happy by the policies of the Britishers. As why? Because the Britishers know very well that the production is very good in the Punjab. So we want to consolidate our position in India, and for the further expansion we require the good support of the farmers of Punjab also.